Oh my God.
Hello and welcome to From Dial Square to Where. For those that are listening to the audio, I've just got a face mask on with hashtag Klopp out on it. So I wanted to be topical. So let's have a hello from everyone here. Finally, I'm going to take this off because I can't breathe.
Good.
Right, so Johnny, how are you? We got there in the end. What a nightmare I've had.
That's all right, mate. Yeah, you will.
Yes, I am, thankfully. I'm not in quarantine or anything, so all positive.
Thanks for having me on.
Marky's right on your microphone now. Now we can't hear you.
Yeah. Right. Oh, God, I'm all in my mess now. Look at my glasses.
That was a really good prop. Yeah, well done.
Right.
well,
Sir Jolly,
We're off to a rolling start
you were
here,
wearing the other day
What's that, buddy?
on the post when you were going out.
Oh, what, the Liam Gallagher jacket?
Yeah, that was nice. That was. Where did you get that from?
Oh, nice one, mate. Yeah, I got that from Pretty Green.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. I got about 200 it was. Nice.
Oh,
and
very
warm.
nice. I'm going to have to have a look at that after the show.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'm just going to go and get a pint of Corona then, and I'll be back.
Corona. He's like a college girl.
Darren, welcome. How are you, mate?
Yeah, look at this fucking state of me. You tell me we've got to start at 7. I rushed here to get here. I haven't eaten. I haven't changed. I look a fucking mess. And you're 20 minutes late. Yeah, I'm here.
Well, at least, well, I wasn't late, was I? Let's just go, but let's just, let's not go into it. I know, but I wasn't exactly late here, was I? I've been fucking stressing, having heart attacks, and, go. Like I said, I was just about to run out and play on the M6 with a rubber ball. So, Talon, the bearded gooner, how are you, pal?
Doing well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad now. I'm going to start trying to relax. And Ryan from the Arse Bros, how are you, mate?
Doing good. Can't complain.
Fantastic. Late substitute tonight because of Glenn having to pee off. All right, well, got a lot to talk about really today. Not so much even about the specific matches that we've had lately, but I mean, they've all been done to death over the last few days. Exiting the Europa League. We all know how disappointing that was on the night, but I think I put it on record quite a few weeks ago that I think that the best chance we had was of getting into Europe was via the league and not via a cup competition, which is always notoriously hard. And do you know what? I think a lot of people, especially Arsenal fans, especially on Twitter, they actually forget that whenever we go out onto the field, we've actually got an opposition to play. And sometimes the opposition are actually going to put up a pretty decent fight of matches, and we're not going to have a performance for 90 minutes just getting everything our own way. And, I think we underestimated Olympiacos on Thursday, and we got our just desserts, really, despite a few moments in the match. But overall, it was just too ponderous, too slow, and, big disappointment, really, overall. But the one shame about it is that the world-class goal that Aubameyang scored is probably going to never be remembered or spoken about ever again in the future, which is a bit of a shame for him. Let's have just a very quick. And like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on that match, but let's have a quick once round and just to see overall, your thoughts about it and going out of the Europa League. So, Johnny, what's your thoughts on it overall, really, mate?
Right. Well, I'll be honest. I think the manager for Olympiacos deserves all the credit because they came with a game plan. We're a better side than them, much better side than them, but they took it to us and they nailed it. Tactically, they were brilliant on the night. So a lot of Arsenal fans are having a go at them, like the Arsenal, but at the end of the day, we've done all right. They done very, very well. But I think Arsenal were a little bit fatigued as well. They looked a bit fatigued. I felt very sorry for Aubameyang as well because he's the first signing for me. next season. You need to give them another 2 years. World class strikers can go until they're 34, 35. You can get another 2 years out of Aubameyang easy.
Yeah,
So
I totally agree.
I just think Olympiacos came with a game plan. They've done it well. You have to give credit to the manager. Doesn't matter what Arsenal did at the end of the night. They did it well.
You're the first person I've heard that agrees. You know, I think they played us, did a brilliant job on us. Basically, I think manager deserves a lot of credit, and they weren't attractive to look at, but they did what they needed to do to get through the tie. What about you, Darren?
It's just a funny scoreline, isn't it? When you've got that 1-0 away lead, you don't know whether to stick or twist. And I felt that was the problem. I don't think we had a shot until the 75th minute. You don't know whether to go for it and win it or just sit back. And there was a lot of indecision in it. But at the end of the day, it's a cup competition. You know, not always the best team wins the cup games. You know, Liverpool won the Champions League a few years back when they were the 5th best team in England. You know, so it is a cup competition. You know, sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll win the competition. Sometimes you won't. You know, we are a better side, man for man, probably over 2 legs than they were. But it's a cup competition, and we didn't finish it off. So we got what we deserved. And do you know what? C'est la vie. Let's move on. You know, it was nobody on that team didn't try. Everyone wanted to win. The manager put out a really strong side. Who can you complain? You know, you can't say you know he didn't go for it. Just roll with it. We got knocked out of the cup.
I think that the chances of us winning it were slim, very slim anyway, and it could do us a massive favour not having all those extra games for the rest of the season, personally. And that's not sour grapes at all. You know, I've been thinking that all along. I hate that competition, to be perfectly honest. What about you, Tannen?
I'm going to enter and echo your sentiments, Andrew. The other team gets paid to play too, just like we do. So. I got an echo here, guys. You know what? Let me back out of here real quick and restart. I got an echo in my headphones. Give me a minute.
Okay, mate.
I'll be right back.
No problem. I think the same can be said, what Tanner just said, I think the same can be said with Portsmouth. And if people don't realise that it's their cup final, Portsmouth, and they're going to come at us from the first minute and attack us and really have a go, try and put us on the back foot, because we've got the reputation at the end of the day of being a pushover from years gone by, like several years. And if we don't expect people to do that, especially in the cup, the same against Leeds in the first half, what happened to us in the first half against Leeds, it's like all our players standing up in a hailstorm and the winds blowing the hail in your face. It's what it's like when they're coming at you like that. So what about you, Ryan?
I mean, I agree with some of you. I agree with what all you guys are saying, but then I disagree with what some of you guys are saying. I thought they were pretty bad, Olympiacos. I just think that we just didn't take our chances. We didn't play well. In the fact I didn't think they played well, Olympiacos, I thought the manager deserves credit in the fact he pulled everything out of that team. He squeezed the team like an orange juice on breakfast morning and got everything out of his team. In the extra time, they were so tired. I think it was one of their fullbacks or center backs was just like hands on his knees in the 6-yard box, still trying to defend with Arsenal coming at him. So I give him credit. I mean, yeah, like I said, they weren't playing. I didn't think they played well at all, but neither did we. But again, same respect. You know, the manager got everything out of them. They willed their way to victory. And sometimes, you know, again with these competitions and the knockouts, sometimes a team that wants it more is going to win, not necessarily the most skilled. So. Well, it sucks, but again, you know, we press on and trying to be positive as best I can. But we have a nice run of fixtures coming up, so hopefully accrue some points.
Yeah, and we've had it confirmed that we've got Man City next Wednesday, haven't we? And do you know what? I'm not particularly bothered about it. I think that there's no one going to be more keen to pull one over on Pep than obviously Arteta, is there? Really, the pupil taking on the teacher, and he's going to want to win that more than anything. He's going to get him really fired up. So let's see what happens. And if we lose it, we lose it. It's not the end of the world, because it's we've got plenty more matches to actually get to where we want to be. But apart from that Europa League tie, we need to remember we're still unbeaten in 2020 in all domestic competitions. So I'm more concerned about just getting past West Ham at the weekend because it's just typical, isn't it? With coming up against West Ham when they've got the tails up, and they're going to play like prime Barcelona at the weekend. So it's just one of those things.
The thing is, Andrew, is people that forget Portsmouth's got one of the best home records.
Yeah.
So that was a great performance by Arsenal, and it wasn't their strongest team. So that was actually a good lower league. It doesn't matter. At home, Portsmouth are tough to beat. We had a weakened team out. We've done the job. Another good performance from Arteta.
Absolutely, and that's what I meant at the beginning. It's very, very true. They rotated some players, but that was out of necessity because they played on the Friday, and they've got another big match at the weekend coming up, and obviously their priority is getting back into the Championship. But they're a big club at the end of the day. They won the FA Cup 12 years ago, and they've got a small, compact ground, but it's well known for its boisterous atmosphere, and they nearly filled it. I think it's 18,000 there. So yeah, it was. And considering the amount of young players that we had, I think we did really, really well. I wouldn't have been surprised if we hadn't got the winner on the night, considering the lineup we put out. But that's a massive testament to what we've got coming through, and I was absolutely thrilled with it, to be honest. We controlled that.
I totally agree, and I was also very thrilled personally with David Luiz, because I think David Luiz under Mikel Arteta has been a totally different player, and I think he is our captain, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And do you know what? He made that mistake at the end of the match, but I'm not going to hold anything against him for doing that, because yes, it was bad. However, he's 33 and he's played every game, and against Olympiacos, that was his third game in 7 days at that point, and he played the full 100 and whatever minutes that we had in that game. And credit's got to be given to him, because he was still putting in everything he had until the last minute. And like I said, he's not a young kid anymore. So I'm really I'm grateful that we've got him this season, because I think his leadership has been very, very good for our young players. So I definitely hope we keep hold of him next season as well, and I'm almost certain we will, because that's the last 12 months of his contract. It'd be stupid to sell him for anything at the moment, because whatever we got, it wouldn't be worth it to lose that guy from the changing room, to be honest.
The thing is, you've got to look as well. The guy's been playing for his career next to one of the best centre-backs the country's ever produced, and that's John Terry. Whether you like John Terry or not, John Terry is an amazing defender, like Tony Adams was. And he's played alongside, he's done it all. David Luiz is a class centre-back. He's on his days our best centre-back in the team, no doubt about it.
It was early days, but I really like the look of the partnership he could have with Pablo Mari as well. I think they complement each other very well, and I was watching them quite closely, how they sort of reacted. David Luiz had no issues slotting into that right centre-back position, and when one brought the ball out, the other one was covering, and vice versa, and they've both got really good passes on them, so I think that could be another weapon moving forward. He's been playing Mustafi because of his ability on the ball and his passing ability, but I think that fingers crossed, Pablo Mari could be a lot better than him, so it might keep him out of the team. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing how that pans out, really, to the rest of this season. Thanks to everyone watching. Just quickly, Boardroom Bants, we're going to discuss that a bit later on. I'll give Johnny the chance to have a chat about that. Ryan from the Mr. Arsenal podcast, thank you very much for being here. And Terry Mancini, I'm really looking forward to the comments you're putting in, because it's always good value. He's put, Andrew, when Olympiacos discovered that London had more women than goats, the Greeks got a big lift. The other winners were the relieved goats. So I couldn't agree more. What about the camels, though, Terry? Do they have camels? Oh, no. I'm probably a bit wrong there. I don't think Greece have camels. Talking about... I'm glossing over that. I was hoping no one noticed. I didn't get away with it, clearly.
Keep going. I didn't notice.
Talking about the forwards that we've got, and obviously the young players. I've heard a lot of podcasts recently, and a lot of chat on Twitter about who we're going to sell, blah, 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 in the summer. Who can we move on? And I've more than quite a lot of people. I've heard that would be lucky to get 30 million for Aubameyang, and would be lucky to get 25 million for Lacazette. And I just can't believe it's absolutely ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. That sort of figure. I mean, you wouldn't sell them for that first and foremost. You might as well keep them. But in football, goals are the most valuable commodity you can get. And Aubameyang, like you said earlier, Johnny, he's got at least another 3 seasons at the top. He's a supreme athlete. I can't remember him being out for long term for injury. He's guaranteed 30 goals a season. He's going to finish this season on 30 goals again in all competitions. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility to get 60, 70 million for the guy. I don't believe, because of 3 seasons worth of 20 to 30 goals in any league, that's worth it. I think it's, especially if he goes to a club like Barcelona and they've got the guys just giving him the ball in the box all the time. He's just going to be tapping them in for fun.
Yeah, but Andrew, I mean, let's be honest. He's joined the club because he thought we'd be playing at the top level of European football, and it's not happened. He's coming into the last year and a half of his contract. I mean, that's why the figure's going low. He could just sit out and play one more year for us and go for nothing. He's got one more big deal in his locker. Are we going to pay him Ozil type wages to keep him?
No.
Or, do we just have to look at that and say, do you know what? He was a great player for us. We weren't good enough for him over the last 2 years, to be honest. And he can just walk away.
I agree, but I'd rather keep him for the last 12 months of his contract in that case.
It may not be our choice, I mean, and we can keep him. Of course, we can tie him down to that contract. But do you want an unhappy player there for another year? Or do you make whatever money you can? If that's 25, 30 million, do you not just take that?
Absolutely not, no. I wouldn't sell him for 25, 30 million. I think he's insulting, to be perfectly honest.
The question would then become, you take that 25 or 30 million, can you get 30 goals out of 25 or 30 million reinvested somewhere else?
No, of course you can't.
The thing is with him as well, over the last 5 or 6 years, if you look at his stats, he's one of the top European goal scorers. He's been doing it for 5 or 6 years. He's just not in the Premiership. He is one of the best strikers in the world. Arsenal have got him. We need to do everything to keep him for that 2 year. So if it's a fact of getting rid of Mesut Ozil, then we have to, because Aubameyang is more important. He is your goals, and he is just an outstanding. I think he's as good as Robin van Persie, if not better.
I just think it's a no-brainer, because how much did Real Madrid pay for Eden Hazard when he had 12 months left on his contract? About 90, wasn't it? And it's a completely different player. However, like I said, I mean, look how that's worked out for a start.
Yeah.
Chortle. Yeah. But I'm sorry, but 30 goals a season minimum for a team like Real Madrid is worth 60 million for the season because of what it will bring them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so if anyone wants him, they can have him, but for 60 million minimum, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, I see. It's funny when I did my podcast with Manny on the Arts Bros. Everyone check it out. Where we kind of confess our sins. My first sin was, I think we need to sell Aubameyang right away, and I was like, that's got to happen, just because like the money he could bring in, and on top of that, I don't know if we could get the best out of him going forward. But after, Manny kind of talked me off the ledge a little bit, and he kind of gave me the same kind of argument that you guys are saying, like, how are we going to replace these 30 goals? How much can we get for him going forward? And like Darren was saying, it might not even be our choice. So I'm kind of like swaying back to where I definitely want to keep him. And I think I thought his best years were behind him, and I thought he was nowhere to go but down. But I mean, he hasn't proved that at all. Like I think I say
he's got better.
Yeah, I say you just roll the dice. Like you're in Vegas, just keep playing hot hand. You have to run to him. But I don't want to butt in wages either. So
sorry to butt in, but I think this is important. When he missed that chance right at the end of the match against Olympiacos, people say, "Well, that's what Aubameyang does. He takes him so many chances." I'm sorry, but that hasn't been the case, especially. Well, don't you notice though? He hasn't been missing those easy chances. I can think of one this season, to be honest, and I can't remember which game. It's quite a recent one.
He's not the best striker. Come on, let's be honest. He is a fabulous player for us, and he scores a lot of goals. But he's not.
He doesn't miss as many as he used to.
He's not the best finisher, though. That isn't what he does. He does so many things so well because he gets in so many places to score those goals.
He's a runner. Yeah.
He's not a clinical finisher, and that finish, that missed chance, unfortunately, sort of typifies him as a player. Do I want to get rid of him? No, absolutely not. He's a fabulous fast player, but I don't think we're going to have that chance. He will want to leave. And okay, we may need to hold out for more money, but if we don't get into the Champions League, he's not going to want to go into, another year depressed, fucking playing Europa League or nothing football. He'll want to leave.
I don't think we're going to have to get into this conversation anyway, because I think we're going to make it into the Champions League via the league. So there you go. I'm just an optimistic guy.
Can I say something on last night, though? You all watched the game, Monday night's game. I, as a football fan, as an Arsenal fan, watching that for years, I enjoyed watching that, especially the second half. I enjoyed watching that more than I've enjoyed watching Arsenal for years. To me, that was the future. That really was where we were. There was no Aubameyang, no Lacazette. We had some really quality defenders for a change. Luis, Murray, Socrates, hitting 40, 50-yard diagonal balls across to a front six that was a delight to watch, that worked their nuts off for 90 minutes. Scored 2 goals, kept a clean sheet. That's the reality of where we are. We are a team that's going to struggle to get Champions League football, and God, I hope we get there. We may not even get Europa League football, but watching that last night showed me what we have got coming through. And Aubameyang, he's a big part, but it's not essential that we keep him.
I was really, like I said before, it's a joy to watch the youngsters playing, and the way they handled that game, I thought was really, really good. Really, I was just really happy with their performance. I think it was really professional, and they're very mature for everyone, really.
I mean, Andrew, don't get me wrong, you saw their shortcomings. You saw...
Yeah, of course.
Martinelli is not the best player the world has ever seen already, like everyone's saying 3 weeks ago. Nketiah's got some mistakes, but look how well Nketiah came back and held the ball up, something we've been criticising Lacazette for. Look how well Nketiah did it last night. Look how fast Nelson was. Look how much work Martinelli did. Look how good Guendouzi was. There was so many positive things to take from that performance last night, and that's where we are. We're not Champions League material.
The only thing that worried me with the Aubameyang thing is that it's proven. Where's the goals coming from? Look around that midfield, look around the attacking force, and you get rid of Aubameyang, then you decide the player that you're going to replace him. Who's that going to be? And also, Lacazette doesn't score many goals. Let's get that right. Good player. His strong point is his work rate. He's probably the hardest worker on that pitch. Yeah? Eddie, very similar player to Lacazette, probably works the channel.
I think he's better than Lacazette, personally.
Mate, well, time will tell.
Whoa. All right.
But Martinelli, is he an out-and-out goal scorer? We don't know yet. But that's my point with Aubameyang. To me, he is an out-and-out goal scorer. He's done it everywhere he's been. And he's done it in Germany. He's done it in the Champions League. He killed Tottenham 2 years ago. He's a brilliant player. And I just think Arsenal fans don't realise how lucky we are having him.
Absolutely.
Well, the other thing, too, is I think fans tend to get enamored with the grass being greener on the other side. And like I said, if you sell them, you have to take whatever you get for them and you have to reinvest it into another goal scorer. And there's just not another goal scorer out there that's going to give you 30 the way that he will for less than 120 million pounds at this point with the way the market goes in this day and age. So 60 million for Aubameyang, sure, that's great, but who are you going to get to replace him for 60 million?
Well, Harry Kane's not going to come to Arsenal, so...
Don't, what? Come on. Why even put that out there in the universe?
I know, I just had a bit of sick come up in my mouth.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that you talk about 5 top, but whether you like it or not, Harry Kane's in the top 5, 6 because he is. It's the stats are there. You can nod all you want. Aguero is there. He's not going to come to Arsenal. So who is going to come to take Aubameyang? If you go out there now, we sell Aubameyang tomorrow. Who are you going to go and buy? And who's just going to come to Arsenal like that?
I'll take the money and give it to Martinelli and just tie him up for life. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, you're a love child. We know. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Who are we going to bring? It's exactly the point, though. Who are we going to bring? We're not going to bring. We're not.
The thing is, we might get done.
Goal scorer, unless you uncover unless we uncover a gem like Leicester did with Jamie Vardy. I mean, we could roll the dice, take a chance, but that's exactly what it is. It's a chance, and a club like us shouldn't really be dealing in chances, especially with our rebuilding and especially with the new coach and everything coming in. I mean, yeah, to an extent we do have to take chances with certain players, but with 30 goals in Aubameyang, you can't really. You have to get someone to replace the goals. It's just simple as that.
Okay, so let's take it from the management position. They stated at the start of, was it this season or last season, that when a player gets to 2 years or less on his contract, he's going to be sold or sign a new contract. There wasn't an in-between. After losing Ramsey and after losing Alexis and having to pay Ozil, 3 times probably what he's worth, the club said that they will never let that situation happen again. So we've got a player coming up in his last year and a half of his contract. If he decides he doesn't want to sign a new contract, we have to sell him, and whatever that price is. I mean, we have to face facts. We are not in the Champions League, and if we don't get into the Champions League this year, he will just say, no, I want to go. And we will have to take what we have to for him. Of course, we all want to keep him. He's a very, very talented player. He's the best goal scorer we have. But the club has said we're not going to do this anymore, and that's the situation we find ourselves in.
I agree, and maybe I value his chemistry with the team more than most people, and maybe I'm overvaluing it. It's very possible, but he is really good friends with Lacazette. He's really good friends with a lot of players on the team. And again, it's all media. It could be all bullshit. I know, but I just think he has good ties here, and I think the chemistry with the team is on and off the pitch is really good. Again, could be Arsenal media fucking doing over on me, but I generally think Lacazette and Aubameyang are, I don't want to say butt buddies, but they're really good friends, and I think that having the chemistry and having that friendship, I think goes a long way. And I think that either I'm overvaluing it or you guys are underlooking it. But
Okay. Just to argue that, I agree with you, Ryan. I agree. Sorry to talk over you. I agree, but the 90% of our fans, not me, 90% of our fans have decided that Lacazette's no good and we all want him to leave. So where's that chemistry then if he goes? Then there's never going to go, the fucking fans hate my mate Lacazette. They're all cunts. I'm going to fuck off. Do you know what I mean? We don't know. And I make you right. There is an argument that he's actually a really good, he does love playing here. Being in London means a lot. I'm sure it's a great place as a footballer. You can be anonymous in London. I'm sure there's a lot of ties, and I'll be really happy if he signs a new contract. But it's hope. That's all it is. It's hope.
Isn't it sad though that the Champions League has destroyed football like that for the player with a badge, and how the money, the game's changed dramatically. When you look at Tony Adams for Arsenal, and I've got to say it, Gary Mabbott for Tottenham, John Terry for, they wanted to stay.
Hang on. Can you stop mentioning Tottenham Hotspur players, please? That's just not on. Seriously, I'm going to be sick.
You've got to think these players, they play for the badge. Mind you, anyone fucking wearing a Tottenham shirt, well, I don't know what's going on there. Need to go fucking doctors. But all jokes aside, some great players that stayed and played for that. Look at Gerrard. Could have gone to Real Madrid. Didn't. Stuck it out with Liverpool. Oh, that's gone now. It's so sad.
Yeah, but it has gone, hasn't it? I mean, I'm sure we all grew up in an era where, I remember standing outside the Clock-In queuing for tickets for a game, fucking well back in the day. And Dave, I'll tell you the era, Kevin Campbell turned up in he had an XR3 convertible. Wow. And he had music blaring out, and it was like, wow.
They were the dog stangly bits.
David Hillier pulled in the car park behind him, and he had a Mark II Escort, and so did I. And that's the difference. That was it. I remember seeing him, and it was the same colour and everything, and I drove the same car as David Hillier. And that's the difference. David Hillier was a regular in the Arsenal midfield at that time, and we were close to them. Now it's just a different world.
It's a much different world.
I mean, you have to question as well, like players like Tony Adams and Ray Parlour through the social media. They wouldn't stand a chance. They wouldn't stand a chance on social media. They'd be murdering them on social media. Did you guys
hear the I think it was the Handbrake Off podcast, where they had Glenn Helder on as a guest the other day.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, they're saying about him, he pulled into the car park somewhere in a really flash car at the time, and Tony Adams had a Mark II Fiesta, he said.
All
And
dead.
that was the difference, you know, because he thought he'd made it, and you know, he's a young. Actually, that was a really good podcast. I really enjoyed it. I felt a bit sorry for Glenn Helder. And the worst thing, I actually fucking emailed the cunt about 3 weeks before they did, so I was hoping to get him on myself, because he's a proper. He's actually a really good character, isn't he?
Yeah, it
But-
was a good podcast. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but it's a different world. I remember used to go to Highbury back in the day, and I used to bump into them, but I used to see the players sometimes. They used to park the cars in the road and then obviously walk into the ground themselves, and I used to see it quite often. But yeah, imagine that nowadays. It just wouldn't happen, would it? But I agree with a lot of these comments that are coming in, like this one from Lavanger's Lounge. Hope I pronounced that all right. About spreading the goals out if we got rid of Aubameyang, and we need goal-scoring midfielders. And I totally agree. I mean, I don't know whether you guys have seen the highlights reels that are doing the rounds of the new Kevin De Bruyne, Emile Smith-Rowe at Huddersfield lately. I mean, it's a long, big step up, I know, but he's absolutely looking brilliant. I mean, who's to say that he couldn't take the Ozil role next year and start contributing, up to 10 goals himself? But we need to get that situation where we're putting more pressure on Pepe next season, for example. If we can get a good partnership going with Tierney and Saka on the left-hand side, Saka will be chipping in with more goals, and we do need to spread it out a bit more because we are too reliant on Aubameyang's goals at the moment. I don't know what you guys think of that.
Yeah, I agree. We are too reliant on Aubameyang's goals. Think about where we'd be without him right now, and without those goals.
Relegation zone. That's
Yeah,
right.
but that being said, there's another side to this too. I agree that we need to spread the goals out. We need, I guess, a way to put it would be secondary scoring, that being from the midfielders. But I still think we need, and we have him here, that world-class goal scorer that just strikes fear into the heart of defenses whenever he comes running at you, and that's Aubameyang. So it's a two-pronged attack in my opinion.
Yeah. Are people starting to come on side with me about Eddie Nketiah yet as well? I mean, I looked at his stats earlier. He's got from 10 starts this season and 15 substitute appearances. He's got 11 goals.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying he's ready yet, but he's going to be a very good striker.
I think when you talk on these podcasts, sometimes you mouth off your opinion, and sometimes it makes you look like an idiot. I remember when he was chosen ahead of Lacazette, and I was just playing devil's advocate because everyone was slagging off Lacazette, and I'm thinking, well, he doesn't go from like player of the year last year to being the worst player in the world. And I was saying that Nketiah is so far off of that sort of quality. But you know what? I've watched him the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I haven't seen Nketiah this year. And he has come on so much in the last 6-8 months from when I saw him at the end of last season. And I thought the way he was holding up the ball last night, the way he came back, his first touch, they were hammering balls into him at real pace. And the goal that he scored, I think the commentator last night said he got a lucky.
I know.
Bounce. It's an incredible first touch.
Did you see that first touch?
I thought, yeah.
On his toes. He took it down, the way he controlled it with his toes. And that was an incredible bit of skill.
I think the composure to put the ball in the net so close to the goal, I thought was crazy. I thought that was nuts. I don't think many of our players could do that. I was really impressed. I think it was his best game of the season. Paul Smith, whatever. But the only thing I'm concerned about, I think I've talked about this on here, is I think he's a great goal poacher. I think he knows where to be in the box, where to run. I think he makes really good runs. But in the same respect, like the way Arteta uses him as like a workhorse and pulling back, I think he could do that really well too. But he can't be in the 6-yard box and working hard in the back. I mean, again, if the possession's there, if the playmaking is there, and the flow is there with the way we're playing, yeah, obviously he can work hard in the middle and then slowly go into the 6-yard box and make runs and stuff. But I think it's a lot to ask for from a 20-year-old right now. Anyway, that's why I'm willing to give him time. I want to see what he could do. I don't think he's there yet. But
How old's Mbappe?
what is it, 21, 22? I don't even know.
22, I think. Yeah.
Younger? I don't even know.
He's been at the top. He won the World Cup when he was about 20, didn't he? And you know, unless I do not think I'm comparing the two, but if they're good enough, they're old enough, aren't they? And I'm not saying that he's the finished article yet, but people saying that he's just a poacher. He doesn't do the other stuff. I want a player in the box that's going to do the poaching. I don't want. If we had someone behind him instead of Ozil who actually did their job properly, then he wouldn't have to work back so much, would he? Like same with Lacazette. You know, he'd actually be supplied by the wings and by someone sitting behind him. But instead, because Ozil don't do that no more, our strikers are having to do that. So it annoys me when people say, "Well, yeah, he's a good goal scorer, but he doesn't do the other stuff that Lacazette does." But I mean, that's ridiculous. We want someone up front as a number 9 to score the goals. And I tell you what, he's just got that knack of being in the right place at the right time and making the runs at the right time.
He makes really good runs. I watched him play at Leeds too. I mean, he knows when to make runs, where to go. He knows where to be. And to have that instinct at 20 years old, I think is awesome. And I'm excited. But it's just, again, like with the fans, they want to see stuff.
They don't know what they want
now. Especially like with us in limbo with the Champions League, they don't care. They don't care that he's getting better and he played so well here, and they don't care. They want him to score now. They want
instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I always stick up for. I'm old school, so sorry if I upset anyone, but I was a big old.
Not a Tottenham player, please.
I won't say him again. I promise. I've learned my lesson. I promise. But no. Arsene Wenger, wonderful manager, great manager, and I think the problem with him was he done it too early and he put himself on a pedestal of success. And some of these young Arsenal fans saw it coming in. They were like kids in a candy shop, but they wanted more and more and more. And then also FIFA came along and they all think they're managers all of a sudden. And they, you should put your CV in. Everyone's a football manager nowadays. It's not as easy as it looks. And times running at Chelsea never helped managers by sacking them left, right, and centre. Kids saw that happening, fans saw that happening, and that's the thing. The demand is they want it now. They want it now. Manchester United never won the trophy. Well, never won the league for 25 years.
No, well, I'm fucking old, and Spurs have never won it in my lifetime.
That's what I'm saying. Liverpool, first time in the Premiership. What's wrong with these Arsenal fans?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Did you see what I put on Twitter today? Because I heard it on a very good, reputable podcast that if this coronavirus really grabs hold in the UK and they start cancelling football matches like they're doing all over the place, and especially in Italy, if we can't complete the league season, then there will be no champions and there will be no relegation. Can you imagine if it happened to Liverpool this season and what their fans would say?
Oh my God!
It would be the funniest thing I've ever seen in the world ever. And I would literally go outside, set up some stalls, and have a good old-fashioned street party like we used to have. It would just be so funny to see them. Oh my God! And they will be going on about it forever. Oh my God! But anyway, let's just hope.
I'm married to a Scouser. It would be so much fun.
Absolutely hilarious. It would be the best thing ever.
Fun for you, but I'd be scared. I'd be scared for you.
Yeah, that's true. She's a fucking nutcase. Yeah.
What would you see her coming in behind you with some knife, like Psycho?
Mate, watch out. Over your shoulder.
What would we get?
An escape room in your house. This is mine. It's not, right.
A panic room.
Lights are off. You can't see me from outside.
You just see like a hand come down above your head, Darren, and some whips you up into the nether regions up the turn. You just see your feet go.
I have the key. I have the key. I've locked myself in. I have the key.
Right, guys. What in the market?
Look. My wife is like a lot of Liverpool fans. She is a part-time supporter with a full-time mouth. And they're not really interested in football, but as soon as they start winning,
Does she speak Scouse?
Of course she does. Fluent.
Oh, that's not bad. It's a difficult language to learn. That's all. It's like
He
it
just
takes a long time.
He had a lot of K's to everything. That's all you need to
I
do.
still can't understand it.
Oh, it's difficult, mate.
It's like
In the market, if we were to sell Lacazette, then what would you think we'd get for him?
Again, going back to my podcast, I said sell Aubameyang and Lacazette if the money's there. That's my biggest thing. I do not know what teams will pay for. Because again, last year he was our player of the season. He could do no wrong. And then this season he's one of our worst players. And he's just not on form. He can't do anything. He tries too much. You could tell he really wants to score. I mean, he has scored kind of since I kind of said this, but you could tell he really wants to score, and he's just doing too much. And sometimes he's got to let things happen and let things unfold. So I really don't know. I mean, maybe you guys can enlighten me and tell me how much you think he's worth, but I don't know.
I think we'd get our money back for him.
I want to say that, but then it's like our team's willing to pay for that, or pay for him. Maybe
what did they pay for him?
I don't know, but
54 million.
No, 45, I think. Wasn't it?
45.
I think it was
Oh, really?
45.
Yeah. See, the one thing,
oh, 52.
one thing being over here is
Some of
me.
us dyslexic.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm happy
Yeah,
to.
one of
One of you is dyslexic. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always hear it in dollars, in American dollars, not pounds. But I saw 54 million pounds. But
Well, I don't think we'll get that then. I was thinking we paid about 45 for him, and
so here's the thing. It's not only a matter of what he's worth. What he's worth is what someone's willing to pay. So
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
So if there's a club out there that think maybe there's a French club that say, yeah, we'll give you 60 million for him. And if somebody offered 60 million, I'll drive him to France myself. And I love Lacazette. I'm just saying 60 million would be an absolute highway robbery. I would say if I had to put a dollar figure on what I think we could get, 35 to 40 million, and that's probably, and I think that might even be a little high.
I think that you're underestimating the marketplace though, because average players are going for more than that. I mean, look, we sold Iwobi for 35, 40 million.
80 million.
Yeah, but here's the other thing too. But he's having a bad year. So
Yeah, I know, but he's still a goal scorer.
Hang on. It's a
I
bad year
agree.
by Arsenal standards, yeah.
I agree.
Joe Linton at Newcastle was bought for £40 million.
That's a good example.
And he
Great
scored
example,
one
yeah.
goal, and he's not on Lacazette.
He
and
scored 6 goals in a period in one season. That was it.
It was, so it is exactly what you said earlier. Is what they're willing to pay. Who knows what we'll get for him?
Yeah.
But he's coming. He's got another year on his contract. That's all it is. We're in this shitty situation
He
where we
still
have to
has.
sell.
Doesn't he have 2 or 3 years left? Lacazette?
No, I don't think he does.
He's got 2.5. He's got 2 years left in the summer.
So at the end of this, that's what I'm talking about. When he gets to the summer, he gets to that 2-year period where the club have categorically said, we're not going to get into the situation. We're going to let players run down their contract. Well, at 2 years, they will either sign a new contract or we will sell them. That's not me talking. That was Arsenal.
Well, Aaron, to that point, when you brought that up earlier, I wanted to say this, and I said this on Arsenal Fan Circle last week. Here's the thing with selling players: you got to have somebody that wants to buy them. You can't just say, "Hey, we're going to sell them." Well, who's going to buy them?
There's a big shortage of strikers. We saw that in January.
I'm just saying, in general, in this business, it takes two to tango. You got to have a buyer and a seller. It's great for us to say, "Yeah, we want to sell them," but somebody's got to come in with the money to buy.
Well, look at Lukaku in Italy. I mean, he couldn't hit a barn door for Man United, but now look at him.
Yeah.
And if Lacazette went somewhere like Italy or even the Bundesliga or even back to Lyon, I think he'd do really well.
I actually agree 100% with that.
So I think we're underestimating what we could get for him. However, I'd be quite happy if we got 45 to 50 would be fantastic. But I think we wouldn't. I think we could get him more for him. To be perfectly honest, I think it'd be because of the marketplace and the massive shortage of strikers that are available. I mean, look what happened in January.
We could go out into the market and try and find somebody like Lacazette.
Well, this is it. I genuinely would quite happily sell Lacazette and not even replace him because I think that Nketiah could do a better job anyway. And that's how badly I really don't.
No,
I do like the guy, but I don't think he's.
A fan. In the space of 3 games, Nketiah is now
he don't.
Back out on loan because he didn't get more than 3 or 4 games for Leeds. We wanted him all to go out on loan. Suddenly,
I didn't want him to go out on loan.
And then
I definitely
picked him. Arteta sees something in him. He's picked him, and suddenly he's the best player in the world. Let's get real here. Martinelli had 3 good games. Everyone's saying he's the best player we've ever seen. And then Arteta sticks him out in the reserves because he sees what he sees every week. And now he played last night. I love watching Arsenal play. Martinelli was good. He worked his nuts off. But was he skillful? Was he as good as Aubameyang? Was he one of those top players in the world? No. Let's stop saying when a player has a couple of good games, it's the best thing ever, and when a player has 3 or 4 bad games, it's shit.
Listen,
let's support this. I support the players.
I totally agree. And I'm not saying that because I don't think Lacazette should be in the team at the moment. Anyway, I think that Aubameyang should be up front. And I think we should supply him in, playing through the middle. And I'd be really happy with either Saka or Martinelli on the left and Pepe on the right. So for me, Lacazette isn't playing at the moment, and that will be Nketiah's position moving forward as well. As a substitute and, an impact sub would be fantastic. And, play him in the Cups next season. So for me, I don't think we should be playing Aubameyang and Lacazette anyway. And so... I've got no issue with losing Lacazette at the moment because I think he's just lost his mojo and he needs a new start. Simple as. I really do. I don't think he's done him any favours having 4 managers in the last 2 seasons either, to be perfectly honest, if you include Freddie Ljungberg. So I've got no issue with selling him. I just I want to make sure, which I can't make sure because I've got no faith in bloody... Raul anyway, but if we get a decent price for this guy, Lacazette, and a lot of other first team starters, then great. I'd be very happy with that because Thomas Partey's got to come in for me. And if we can get someone like a Jack Grealish that Emile Smith-Rowe could sort of understudy, that'd be incredible. We need to get more goals from throughout the team, like was said earlier in the comments section. And we need to strengthen the spine of the team for me. What do you think of that?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ron.
No, I mean, I don't really have anything to say. Just other than you say Partey, you say Grealish. I have a half chub right now talking. I mean, those 2 guys would strengthen us. It's funny how 2 guys in our starting 11 strengthen us immensely. It's they're exactly what we need. Again, it's just to see if we're relaxed and just to see also too who we sell and how much money we can get from the players that we sell. Like we're talking about Aubameyang, talking about Lacazette. I mean, again, back to my another sin I have. I'm more excited in selling players this summer than buying. I really want to see what these players that we have are worth because some of these players aren't working hard enough, at least for me. And I think some of these players think that they're going to get into the starting 11 every week and don't give a fuck, And it worries me because I think Arteta is going to cater to them. Perfect example would be Xhaka. He said multiple times how he wants Xhaka in the team. He wants to start Xhaka every week, and he doesn't want Xhaka to leave. Apparently, he was on his way to Berlin, and now he's not. And that worries me because I think he's easily one of our worst players. So I don't know.
The thing is, as well, Arteta, you've got to realise the players that Arteta has got and some of his players. He's gone there and he's turned that team, well, not dramatically around, but there has been, no one can say there hasn't been an improvement. Because there has under Arteta.
I think there has been a dramatic improvement.
Well, no, I'll take that all day, Bid. Fair play. I think there has been, I like Arteta, I like what he brings to the table, but we cannot judge him even, at least 2 years, because that first transfer in the summer, that's not enough. Not with what he's got. He's took over a team.
Oh yeah.
It's not enough. So Arsenal fans realise it's going to take at least 2 or 3 years. It took how long? 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years, yeah. He finished 8th in his first season, didn't he?
And he just got to learn to be a manager. Period. Like his subs have been really bad lately, and like his decisions, he's been kind of waiting and switching subs. Oh, you're coming on. No, you're not. that's frustrating to see. But again, it's his first managerial position. Like I'm more than open to like waiting and seeing how it is, because I think he's a quick learner, and hearing all the things about how he has his mansion in I think he has his mansion in Manchester when he was at City, and he has no pictures of family, no nothing. He just has like formations and plans and tactics all over his wall.
It's like a serial killer.
Yeah, exactly. So I
So
think he's willing to learn, and I think he just needs to know what he has and what he wants, and he needs to change. If he needs to, he needs to know that he could change, and he needs to know that if he makes a mistake, it happens. I think he's so concerned about making a mistake that he in turn makes a mistake, i.e., like taking too long to make a sub or anything. I think it's a big thing, but
One thing that I'm actually with him on, and it's frustrating to start off with because it's something that you have to live with for a little while, but it gives good results long term, and that is what he said when I think it was against Chelsea, when asked about his substitutions, and he said about, well, I don't want to send the wrong message out, and I want the players to be able to make the right decisions on the pitch themselves. And that is frustrating for a lot of fans, but I think long term you get a lot of good benefits out of that, because the players do start to get a bit more intelligent, because he will then give a lot of thoughts and feedback after the game about where they went wrong. And they will then, next match, when he does it again, it gives them more of a chance to overcome a hurdle, like, I don't know, an injury or having a player sent off or something along those lines. They will start to learn what to do. And like I said, it's a little bit it's short-term pain for long-term gain, as the old cliche says. But it is quite frustrating. But I do think that really benefits players, especially the young players we've got playing at the moment.
It's a strange one, though, isn't it? We complained at Emery because we didn't know what he was doing. The players didn't know what they were doing. They were confused. You can go back to the era of George Graham, where he drilled that team back four again and again and again, week after week, day after day, hour after hour. And then Arsene Wenger came in, and if you listen to the players from that era, they'd had a few months of Rioch, but they'd had all of this pressure from Graham to be drilled. And then Arsene Wenger's method was, you are players, go and express yourself. That's all he did. Wenger, every week, go and play, go and do what you want, go and play, go and enjoy yourselves. And, that worked for us. And we've got Arteta now joining the club, and the jury's out. It was a very strange decision in my opinion, that they appointed someone with absolutely no managerial experience for a club with the stature of Arsenal. An incredible gamble. I'm loving it at the moment. I'm an Arsenal fan. I like the fact that we're trying to play football. And if he is just saying go out and express yourself and learn, he is learning. But at the start of this season, didn't we all look at the squad we had at the start of this season and go, do you know what? We've got a real chance this year. We brought in, it was a great transfer window. We were all saying how good it was. And then it just has dissolved into nothing. That is a good group of players that Arteta's got, and he's got a great youth, 4 or 5 really good young players coming through. Normally you give a manager 2 or 3 transfer windows, but really, haven't we got a good squad there now? Isn't there enough in there to make us challenge? Don't know.
He's hardly lost a game since he's been in charge, and
Hardly won a game.
no, that's well. He's won the last 2 Premier League games, and that is the start of a run, which is good.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of faith in him.
I mean, the jury's out. I told you, I watched Monday night. I watched Monday night, and I was delighted. That, to me, is Arsenal. That is the future of Arsenal. We're going to lose a lot of players because we're mid-table. Get used to it, boys. We're mid-table. We can say if we put a run together, we can get in the top 4. Absolutely, of course we can. But we haven't put a run together all season. We've won 8 games or 9 games all season.
Don't forget as well, we had this. I mean, I'm a big Wenger fan, but at the end of Wenger's career, I know there was a couple of players that weren't in that team, but it was declining then. Emery started off okay, but then it got even worse. And poor old Arteta's come in, and he's done, I think, as the bearded one said, not a bad job at all.
The bearded one.
the bearded.
Haven't we done our money, Johnny? Haven't we? We did our money.
Yeah, but Pepe, right? Pepe, there is a player there. There is a class player there. Graham Souness, he hates the Arsenal. Even he said it. He goes, that lad's going to be a good player. He mints Liverpool. He absolutely destroyed Van Dijk. He them free kicks that he's done. He needs a bit of confidence. We judge him next year. That is a great signing for Arsenal. I've got a lot of good things to say about him, and his work rate's got better as well. If you watch him, Pepe gets back a lot now.
Oh, he does.
Favourite player.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed because I see that myself, and I say that he gets slated all the time, but no, he doesn't track back. I'm sorry, but I'm seeing that he tracks back.
He does. He works.
He does.
Off, and that's typical. What they're doing is they're a £72 million player. Oh, they want this, they want that. I'm telling you now, I played football, and that is a player. He is a very, very good player, and I think in the of him.
I personally think it's if you can't see the talent that guy's got, then there's something wrong with you.
Spot on, mate. Spot on.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I mean, I thought it was hilarious when it happened, even though it was in a difficult situation. But you know that it's got the clips going around and round and round Twitter all the time when he just sort of cut him back one way. He beat the same guys about 15 times in the box against Olympiacos. But that was because there was no movement in the box. He didn't do that on purpose. He just kept tracking. I mean, when he went to shoot once, the guy had his leg up, and he thought, "No, I ain't going to get the shot on target." And he cut back. But there was no bloody movement. I mean, that Ozil was standing there doing fuck all. Might as well have been a sack of potatoes at the edge of the box. And Lacazette was just waiting for the ball to arrive at his feet as well.
Again, that's instant gratification. People see him do a couple moves. Oh, great! Now score. Oh, you're not scoring? What the fuck? You know, and
have a look at what's going on around him.
It's tough because I watched that play. I saw it in real time, and I was going, "Yeah, okay." But then I would say, "Yeah," and then what the fuck? Come on, do something. And then I kind of catch myself being like, "Well, you got to do something." And again, like you said, you know, there were times where I want him to shoot, but then like going back and looking at it, you're like, "All right, well, he didn't really have the opportunity, he didn't really have the spot." But it just comes back to want to see, you know, a fancy move and then a goal right away, and it's not going to happen, especially with the team. It just won't. We need to build our identity, build our culture. And I think again that goes back to why I'm more excited to see us sell players, because I think we need to get rid of some of this dead wood and some of these players that have this really crappy Arsenal culture or old Arsenal culture, and just kind of get a better mentality going. But again, that comes with time. We can't have that instant gratification.
I think that's the one thing that Arteta's brought in is the attitude that, look, you're gonna work.
You have to work, yeah.
You're gonna work your ass off.
Look at Maitland-Niles, nowhere to be found.
Yep. And what did he say after Monday night?
I love Maitland-Niles. The most frustrating thing about this team right now for me is that whole situation. But like, I see what he's doing, and in the long run, it's gonna make more sense to me, and I'm gonna grow to just deal with it and be like, okay, like we need these players to kind of build a mentality and get this culture, you know, into a new swing. And if AMN doesn't want to get on the train, then see you later. It sucks now, but
I heard this a long time ago when I was playing hockey, and it was hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's what Arteta's bringing into this club now is, hey, you're talented. You're a world-class player. Guess what? You can be better. If you work harder, you'll be better. And so you come into this club, you better be prepared to work your ass off, because if I had to put my finger on one thing that Arteta has brought, it's that. It's the work rate. That to me right now, that is probably the biggest thing that is better with this club now.
And it's tough too, because Maitland-Niles is probably our best right back right now. Since Arteta came to their team, he's been our best right back. Maitland-Niles easily. But now you have Socrates starting in front of him. I think Mustafi played right back a little bit instead of him. You know, it's Bellerin who could barely run. You know, it's interesting, but again, I'm trying to be patient. But it's tough when you have your best right back not even getting into the team at all. Yeah, is he your right back or not? Whatever, I don't really care. We want to, you know, again, it's gratification.
I think the
Johnny, this one's for you as well on the screen if you want to answer that.
Okay, I was just about to say as well, Guendouzi, I think the treatment of that young lad's been disgraceful by some of our fans as well, because he's a young lad who's come in, and he needs time. He could be a good squad player. He's very young, and we've seen him have good games. That's just my opinion.
Again, it's gratification. He came into the team. Everyone thought he was going to go to the U23s and kind of build his way up. Emery liked him right away, and Emery just rode his dick. He just played every game, every single game, and he burnt them out. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
He started playing a couple bad games.
He
And
got
then-
too many bad habits as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think you could blame Emery. You could blame a lot of things. Mainly, I blame Emery. But again, it's just you have to realize how old he is, and just because he gets into the first team and plays all these games in a row doesn't mean he's our answer. Doesn't mean he's going to be the center midfielder that we need. It takes time. You got to realize the age. You got to realize what he needs to develop, what he's really good at, what he needs to develop, and it's rough. For most of the players, you can argue, but yeah, Guendouzi comes into my boy Guendouzi comes into a lot of.
I don't think I've laughed so much at a football match when he did what he did against Mike. Mike Dean. Absolutely. I mean, he made him take the kick twice, didn't he? And then he did that, and he gets booked for being sarcastic. Yeah,
I'm a Guendouzi groupie. I love him. But again, you can't play him every game, and yeah,
There's a player there. You can see there's a player there. I mean,
Yeah.
him against the first couple of games when we signed him. I mean, the Man City game when we lost 2-0 at the Emirates, he was our best player. He was outstanding. And
to be honest, if he was on another team, we would hate him. He's such an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly what we need. We need an asshole to rile up the other team's fans. We need an asshole to rile up the team and kind of, if things are getting not good for us, we could kind of rely. And exactly my point. Austin Villa, when we were down to 10 men, he was the heart and soul of his team. He willed his way. He got us back in that game.
Can I just say,
he wound them up in the process, too.
Darren.
It's one of Arteta's, I say the jury's a bit out on Arteta. How well has he handled Guendouzi? I'm going to put my hand on Guendouzi's one of my favourites. From day one, I thought he had the quality to become one of our proper players. Really, from day one, I thought I haven't seen anyone as good that young since Fabregas, since Wilshere in the day. And Arteta straight away put him out the team, put him in the reserves. Had the fallout with him in Greece. He has really treated him, but he's given him a chance to come back. And on Monday night, I thought he was outstanding and looks like the future of Arsenal Football Club to me. I think he's a wonderful player. But I think Arteta's really, really handled him really well. Maitland-Niles, he's done the same thing, and Maitland-Niles hasn't come back fighting. Maitland-Niles, I don't know, we don't know, we're all guessing, but he's gone the other way.
It's 100% his attitude. Could you remember when he tried to come on the pitch with a necklace on? And he got sent out to warm up and he had his trainers on as well.
Andrew,
it's just lax attitude, isn't it? Poor.
And it's funny because we kind of, in a way, like, I mean, me personally, I like kind of like that. Like he doesn't get all crazy built up. He has that lax attitude on the field, but like you said, I don't need him wearing trainers to warm up and has a necklace on when he's trying to come on either. You kind of need to find that Goldilocks effect. You got to find that perfect balance.
How much Ainsley Maitland-Niles feel? Sorry, Johnny. How much Ainsley Maitland-Niles feel when he sits there on the bench on Monday night and looks at all these under-18 players that he was a year, 18 months ahead of? He had 30 games for our first team when they hadn't even broken through into the first team squad. And he's sitting there on the subs bench watching those players play and run about, work their nuts off, play great football, and he has gone backwards. He has got a decision to make, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. He either buries it with Arteta, comes back fighting, or he leaves the club in the summer.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is not playing him is going to decrease his value because teams that are looking to buy him are going to be like, whoa, why is he not playing? Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's been the best right back. Why is he not playing? People are going to kind of look into it a little bit. And they're going to be like, okay, he's got attitude problems. And that might cause teams to kind of bow out and not buy him, which is not good because in the end, if Arteta wants him gone and wants to sell him, he's not going to go anywhere.
So, Johnny.
There's too many forms. There's two forms of immaturity as well. I don't know if you get with me on this, guys, but if you look at Granit Xhaka, there's a difference with Granit Xhaka. If you look at Maitland-Niles, how he acts, there's an immaturity there. Xhaka, for me, was passion, right? Whether you think what he done was right or wrong, he's a cocky, he's aggressive. He might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think what Maitland-Niles is doing is very, very kid stuff, and that is why he's him. That is
very
why
immature.
That's why I play Xhaka.
He threw his toys out of the toy chest.
Yeah, he likes his passion. He plays Xhaka. Every manager played Xhaka. Everyone. Emery, Wenger. They like what they see. The difference is that little bit of attitude and sarcasm And I've seen footage of Maitland-Niles, and I can see probably what's going on there. Do you know what I mean? And that's the sort of immaturity they don't want. That unprofessionalism. You know what I mean? Not about just mainly about him.
I know. I think he gets it from his mum. That's the problem. What do you guys? We've had a question as well about Bellerin, and I'm on Bellerin's side actually, because people aren't still taking it in about the recovery. When he gets back into the team, it really is where his recovery just properly starts. And you know, I've said this before, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but there was Tim Stillman had a interview on the Arsenal ladies podcast, and he interviewed the surgeon that does all the work for Arsenal on the ACLs, and he said that is the easy bit is the operation and you know, getting that ready to start running again. The hard bit is when you actually start playing again, and it can take up to 12 months after that. So you've got to allow 2 years. And people are going on and on about him being finished. He's lost his pace. He's not the same Bellerin. We need to get rid. But all along, I've said you've got to wait until next season, really, to get the best. And he's got to play to actually build up that match fitness and sharpness again as well. So we're stuck in a catch-22 situation unless he plays the under-23s the rest of the year, which is... that ain't going to do him any good either, because you need to be in a proper match situation against proper, you know, professionals. And
I think there's a very good comparison there with Rob Holding. You know, Holding hasn't featured at all. They both had the same injury within a month of each other. It's a very serious injury, and it's going to take a long time. I'm with you, Andrew. I'm a real fan of Bellerin. I'm amazed at how much shit he's getting because he's had a year out with a fucking career-threatening injury.
The biggest thing. Sorry, Darren. Go ahead.
It's okay.
The biggest thing with this injury, and I speak from experience on this because I've done it twice, it's up here. Like you said, Andrew, the easy part.
That's it, mate. You've hit the nail on the head.
The easy part is the surgery and repairing the muscle. And then the rehab. The rehab's not easy. Trust me on that.
That's not easy.
No, the rehab's not easy, but you can't simulate game speed. In any sport, at any level, you cannot simulate the game. I don't care how much practice you go through with your teammates on the pitch, you're not simulating game action. And it's because the knee it wasn't a grotesque injury. Nobody saw it and was like, oh my God, that's awful. It was just a little tweak, and it tears. So there's a confidence that if I plant, is my knee going to hold up? And Andrew, you're exactly right. We won't see the real Hector Bellerin until August.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's early. I think it's
the match against Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, but that's adrenaline. A lot of that is adrenaline, though.
That's what
because
I'm saying. Still a good player there.
Yeah.
There's a comment here from Lavanger's Lounge. Thanks a lot for getting involved. She says, I don't think the ACL affects your pace, but it does, because not physically, but it does mentally, because you do not want to take those high sprints, and if you need to move left or right really quickly, it's a mental thing to say, oh God, you don't trust your knee, and it's a subconscious issue.
When you get an ACL surgery, your muscle essentially gone. Any muscle that you built up over the years playing football, however long, it's just gone. You're starting from square one, 0% muscle. So the rehab it's very extensive. I personally have not done it, but my sister, I know field hockey's not a crazy sport, but she's a very good field hockey player. Same thing, going through trials and tribulations with her, repairing it, and kind of like Tana was saying, getting that confidence back was big. But when you even just looking at the muscles, it's just completely different, and just kind of again just being confident on just walking a few steps.
Come on, we should take the positive from this. This is the first year that Bellerin. This is the first year that Bellerin's not being touted to go to Barcelona. Come on,
We
might have a superstar next year.
And I think he's a future captain in this club. I'm excited, but again, people just want this instant gratification. They need to wait. I'm excited. I think his pace is not there yet, but we need to just hold on.
Lavanger's Lounge. It won't affect the pace. It is purely mental after an injury like that. It'll be the same thing with Rob Holding. It'll be the same thing with Hector Bellerin. It's just going to take time. But the summer and the training leading up to next season will help. Because think about this, too. He's not had a proper off season to train.
No.
He was rehabbing the entire summer.
Exactly.
You know what? The biggest thing for me today is I'm sitting here with 4 other guys who are all supporting Bellerin, and that's amazing because if you read Twitter, if you read the comments of Arsenal fans, it's all we should get really shit. Maitland-Niles is better. This is really good that I'm in a room with 4 other Arsenal fans who actually see the potential of Hector Bellerin and are hopeful.
And if you don't see the potential in Hector Bellerin, then I don't think you can spell football, let alone know anything about it.
Exciting as well. The fact is that we've got Zacco who's playing out of his skin, who looks a great talent. As Darren said, let's not go too overboard just yet. But you've got another great player in Kieran Tierney to come back. So that's going to be a pickle. That's going to be a situation for Arteta. Does he move Zacco into his rightful position?
I think
so. And then who comes out?
Kieran Tierney is that player.
I can't wait. I can't wait for him to come back in.
Doozy, a few others, Bellerin. I'm telling you, Kieran Tierney, when we finally got that over the line in the summer, let's
Me too.
go.
I'm more than Pepe for me as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Good player.
100%.
I'm not degrading Pepe. I love the guy, but I'm just saying I really, really wanted Kieran Tierney, and I think he's our best crosser at the club. On 100%. Now we've got Pepe that's the best at dead balls, but actually crossing when you're running with the ball and actually putting the ball in, from the wing, there's no one better than Kieran Tierney. It's right on the money. I cannot wait for him to start building up a partnership on the left with either Saka or Martinelli.
We've been so bad at the back, haven't we, for as long as you can remember. Signing Tierney and Saliba coming in next year, they were 2 forward-thinking moves.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We bought a centre-half that everybody wants. We don't know how good or bad he's going to be, but he certainly comes hugely rated, as does Tierney. Good young goalkeeper. If Bellerin gets his fitness back. And Luiz, who's been, for me, I can't believe people are so critical. He's an outstanding footballer. If we can have that as a back 4 next year, wow.
But the thing is, with Kieran Tierney, if you watch, he's been out with I think they're dragging that out a little bit. Cause if you watch him, they're obviously beefing him up, and that's what you need.
Yeah. Have you seen his thighs? Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
he's always had those thighs.
If you mated him with Jack Grealish, the guy would have the tree trunk legs to end all tree trunk legs.
And very nice hair.
Mind you, Arshavin had a big beard, didn't he? And legs.
I was going to say and legs.
Well done.
But I tell you what, Kieran Tierney's getting onto the stage where he's going to give Roberto Carlos a run for his money with his thighs. Jesus Christ!
And you know what else about Kieran Tierney? Think about this. Have you ever seen that dude wearing long sleeves?
No, I know they don't in Scotland, do they? The nutcases.
I mean, proper footballer. Short sleeves, shirt tucked in.
He doesn't own a pair of pants. I don't know if you guys know that. He doesn't own a pair of pants.
I genuinely think that he played us in a kilt if you gave him the opportunity.
Played a bagpipe in the middle of half time.
I do worry about his injury record. He doesn't have the best, but
I don't worry about it. I think a lot of the injuries he's had are different, which is good from a starting point because it's not a recurring injury. However, but he's still very, very young. He's still very young, and he got a lot of the injuries at an early age. And I think his body is young enough to actually overcome them.
Inspector Gadget either. You can't just he's had all these different things done to him.
Yeah. No, but he's not had as many. In the summer when we bought him, and people were going on and on and on about the injury record. Now I wish I had the stats to hand, but he played an awful lot of games the previous season for Celtic. He didn't miss a lot of games. And he is the kind of guy that is not going to go down or stay out any longer than he has to. He wants to be playing football. When he got the call to come to Arsenal in the summer, he was at the park playing football with his mates. That's how much he loves the game. And he's being held back because they don't want to rush him back at the moment. That's a definite 100%. He'd be out there playing.
Shoulder injury is. I'm not going to say. I don't want to say it was a freak injury. That's just part of the game. I mean, I was there. I saw the whole thing was right in front of me, and it's unfortunate. But I think anybody in that situation was probably going to walk away with a bum shoulder after the play he made. So,
So you're the bad luck. You're the reason why he did it.
I have not been. I will say this, full disclosure. I was at the match where Ron Holding blew out his knee against Manchester United back in December of 2018, and I was at West Ham. But I might there's something here, fellas. I may have to.
And you've also done your own ACL, yeah?
Yeah, I may have to. I may have, at least home
Wherever
matches.
you are, stay there.
I think I need to stop going to away matches. I think that's
the bearded one is cursed.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Now, one thing I agree with as well, just sorry but there's a comment from Tony Turner, I think it was. Yes.
Tina.
He said that he would still bring in Max Aarons or Mounier to give Bellerin serious competition. I definitely would bring in Max Aarons. I think that would be a great shout. I really like the kid, and he's very young, so he wouldn't mind too much about having to battle for his place. He wouldn't be demanding immediate first-team football, and I think he's a serious, good prospect, and I'd like to bring him in for a bit of competition.
Haven't we just bought in a right back?
Yeah, that he's on loan. And what on earth? It's like he came in as not an emergency loan, obviously, but in January, he came in on loan to provide cover. We are now in March, and we haven't seen the guy. What is the point in that? I mean,
he's not supposed to train until at least the end of March, the earliest. So yeah, I don't know.
What a joke that is!
That was one I didn't get.
I don't get it at all.
All right, none of us got it, but Arteta made that move. So Arteta obviously sees something in him, and Arteta is obviously looking longer term. So maybe he doesn't have the confidence that Bellerin will ever get back. And this is who he has decided is going to give Bellerin a run for the money. We're not going to buy another one, are we? You know, we're just
it depends until the summer and make a decision then, obviously. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to be shown that he's going to come into the team, this Cedric Suarez, and play really well. I mean, I'd love to see that, obviously, because it's going to benefit the club. But what I don't understand is why we bought, got someone in on loan again who's injured. Unless we seriously wanted him, and because he's available for free in the summer. Yeah. And because we seriously wanted him, we're willing to take him on loan, knowing that he's injured, to stop anyone else getting him.
You wouldn't buy him if he was injured and he's not going to play for 2 months unless you wanted him long term. The same with Mari. We've actually just gone and got them because we want them now. So there is the competition in the summer.
Is it just to get through these signings on loan as well? Is it a tactical move just to get us through the door? Just help us just make sure we try and get in the top 4, top 5 and then shoot them up afterwards, then work? Is it a part-time thing? We think, well, January is hard to get anyone. That's the best of what we can get for January. Hector's not on full flow. This guy comes in, he could be important to us in the last few games. Maybe that's just a tactical move.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He might have not even also realized, because he also plays left back too, and maybe he didn't realize with the whole Saka thing. I don't think Saka was really playing in January, at least like to where we know him to be right now. So maybe Kolasinac is always hurt, Tierney's hurt. We need that cover no matter what. But I think it was more of a competition based thing. But right now, we need fullbacks.
Well, I don't know whether you guys saw what I put on Twitter yesterday, but give it some thought before jumping down my throat. But this is the tweet I put out, and I haven't got it in front of me. But basically, what I said was 2 months ago, we would never have thought that Saka would have been playing week in, week out as a left back at the time, and we've been shocked by how good he's been. And due to the situation with Maitland-Niles, and looking at the performance yesterday of not yesterday, it was the day before, of Reece Nelson. Just imagine if Reece Nelson was put in at right back. Obviously, same as Saka, he's not got massive defensive duties, but playing Reece Nelson at right back, linking up with Pepe, overlapping with his right foot and putting the balls in the box. He's a great crosser of the ball, as we've seen. Now, it's a bit pie in the sky. I've got no idea how it would work out, but that's quite an interesting proposition. If he could be trained and played maybe some under-23 games in that position as an understudy, and instead of Maitland-Niles to Bellerin, I think that could be quite exciting. have Saka on one side and Nelson at the other. I'm not saying week in, week out in the Premier League before anyone, again, who's not ready, but it's a possibility. He's got the skills.
It's always healthy to have rotation as well. And
Yeah.
It's very healthy to have it. So long as they're half decent at what they do, if they're second string, I think that's not a bad shout.
It's because we need someone overlapping Pepe. I mean, ideally, I want Pepe to be moving in more into the middle, like I've said before. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think it will under Arteta. We need someone overlapping him who can cross with their right foot, and he's ideal. And it's a way of getting them both in the team. And if we had someone on the right hand side of defence, well, like Ceballos has been doing quite well actually. He had a bad game against Olympiacos, but to be fair to him, he's had a few good games recently. If he could be doing what Xhaka's doing on the left hand side, sort of dropping into the left side of defence when Saka's bombing forward, if someone or Ceballos in the meantime does the same on the right, I mean that could be pretty devastating. I think.
There's plenty of options there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also comes down to, does the player want to do that? Does Reece Nelson want to play right back? Because, as a clear example, I mean, now we don't know with Maitland-Niles, but back in the day, Maitland-Niles was like, I'm not a right back, I'm a center midfielder. So,
whilst you've got Smith in his
the
Thing is, though, dude, it's Arteta's show, and you play where he tells you.
Right.
yeah, no, I agree.
I think he could learn. There is something in the back of my mind that he has done the role. I don't know whether it's either for the England setup or the under-23s, but there's something in the back of my mind. I may be wrong that he's actually played it before, but I don't know. We were shocked at how good Saka was. We could be shocked at how good Nelson is in doing the same job, and he may be extremely inspired by Saka and all the recognition he's getting and the England recognition talk he's getting. He could think, well, I want a bit of that, and it is. Let's face it, in this day and age, it's a very sexy position for footballers to play, isn't it? With Liverpool's leading the way in Robertson and Terence Trent D'Arby. So
sexy position.
It is, though, isn't it? It was nowhere near glamorous, was it? If you're the worst player, you got shoved at right back or left back when I was a kid. But it's not the case anymore.
No, you're right.
But I just thought I'd throw it out there and see what you thought anyway. But I think it's quite intriguing anyway.
Well, I think for any player, it's good to be flexible. It's good to be able to adapt.
It's good in it's good in a partner as well. Right, we've had some clarification that Man City, I think I touched on it earlier, is next Wednesday. And it's sort of screwed up a little bit the run of 4 games that we've got that are quite nice, coming up. Nothing's easy on paper, as we all know, and we talked about earlier. But what's your thoughts about first off the game that we've got coming up? It's going to be so nice, isn't it? Not having Thursday night football anymore in lots of ways. But West Ham at the weekend on Saturday. I mean, do you think he's going to properly go back to full strength, or do you think that any of the guys that played on Monday have maybe played their way into the team for West Ham?
I could see Nelson showing up. I think he had a good game against Portsmouth. Again, with Portsmouth, but
Ahead of Pepe?
kind of, it just, again, I think Nelson is a system player. I think it depends what we want to do with him and what we want to do on that right-hand side. I mean, again, I think Pepe has done a lot of good things coming back and defending. I just think, Nelson could offer a little, something a little different. Not as I personally want Pepe instead of Nelson. I'm just saying, it's an option. I really don't, the only thing I don't want is I just do not want to see the same exact 11 that started against Olympiacos, and that scares me because at the time before that game started, that was our starting 11 under Arteta. So if he keeps with that and he plays that against West Ham, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. I won't be tweeting Arteta out, but
he seems to fancy Nketiah. He started in the last 3 Premier League games. He seems to fancy him ahead of Lacazette, so I think he might keep his place.
Yeah, maybe.
Pablo
I think
Mari?
Sorry, Murray. Yeah,
well,
looked pretty good. The two of them, didn't they?
I think ideally Arteta wants to see Luis and Mari. I don't. I think he did a really good job against Portsmouth. Is it enough to start over Mustafi? I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that. Is it enough to start over Mustafi? But yeah, I don't know.
I think they'll start Mustafi because he's on a roll and because he come off of an injury. They don't want to do his confidence because he's building a player up that we've all slagged off because we have. Let's get it right. We've all nailed into the topic. He's been a different player, and I think the worst thing to do, sadly, and that sounds awful, but at least I'm being honest, is to drop the guy when he's playing really well and then put Mari in because he played against Portsmouth. So you've got to start Mustafi, to be fair.
I agree with that, but he came off the field and everyone thought, "Uh-oh, what's wrong with him?" Apparently, it was like cramps and
Nothing.
I don't know what Arteta said. Arteta said something in his post match where he kind of took a shot at Mustafi, and that's not good for anyone. You know, you have a guy who's playing. You know, he was probably the best player in that game, and when we kind of needed him most, he kind of, literally cramped out. And I don't know how Arteta's going to approach it. I'm not a Premier League manager, but I would be very annoyed and very pissed off enough to take him off the team out of the 11 against West Ham. I don't know, but it just sucks when someone doesn't show the heart that we need to push forward and move on in a competition that is vital to our success, vital to our summer transfer window.
It is true. Sorry, go on, Johnny.
It just worries me as if I don't know if you guys agree or not. It just worries me if he doesn't start a fit Mustafi who's been playing well. Will that drag him back down again?
Oh, it doesn't matter. He's got to play what's right for the team, isn't he? And I agree. It's just he played really, really well against Olympiacos, and there's no doubt that we were worse when he went off. And I also think the same about Ceballos, by the way. I think we went massively downhill when Ceballos went off, actually, against Olympiacos. But I don't know which podcast it was on. I apologise to whoever it was, but what you just said, Ryan, it might be the Arsecast, actually. But someone mentioned about that whenever the going gets really tough, Mustafi has always gone off with some kind of weird injury. And it's true, actually, when you think about it. And he comes back the next week. It looks like it's like a season-ending injury or whatever when he goes off. And then he magically comes back the next game.
I mean, I was at that game and Mustafi was right in front of me when he felt his hamstring. He was running, he pulled up slightly, straight away called to the bench because he didn't want to risk it. I don't see that in any part of Mustafi.
He was available for Monday.
Yeah, I don't see him in Mustafi. I mean, we've all slagged him off, as Johnny says, but Mustafi is fabulous for 89 minutes a game. You know, he works, he fights, he sticks tackles in, he puts his head where you want him to put his head, and then he makes a complete cock up, and we let him go, and we put up with that for months and months and months, and we all just lost our patience with him. Arteta has put him in from day one. He's rehabilitated. You can't help but say he's been one of our best defenders, our best players for the last 2 months since
100%.
No, I think that's
I agree.
He's afraid to Mustafi. He's afraid to pull a Mustafi and fuck us, going forward. And it's like when you're the best player on the pitch, like really, you can't have that kind of confidence.
Didn't you think so with Mari? Look, I think he'll probably play Mustafi. But didn't you think that Mari, having a left-footed player, on Monday night, we just looked far better balanced in that.
Yeah.
I think a left-footed center back is vital to us moving forward. Is it Mari? I don't know, but I think, especially for Arteta's tactics, it's really, really good.
I liked him. I think people have said that he reminds them of Mertesacker. To me, he reminds me more of Steve Bold. He reminds me more of Steve Bold the way he plays. Don't you think, Darren?
We're back to that. We've seen him play for 90 minutes against a team from League One, and we're all saying he's the best.
It's just the way he runs. The way he runs and passes.
It's a tough game. Throwing him into the Premier League against a West Ham team that's on great form at the moment. They've suddenly found some fucking form when they've got to play us. You know, they played really well up at Anfield. They won very well against Southampton last weekend, and now they're coming.
I know, typical, isn't it?
It's the last thing we need, isn't it? We want a fucking team to roll over and tickle their bellies.
We want West Ham from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Do you put Mari in that sort of environment, or do
No.
you just stick with Mustafi? I mean, I think you'll go Mustafi, but I think it is one. It was just I just thought we looked a lot better balanced with a left-sided player at the back.
Trouble is, when you have to do it at some point. You can't keep playing Mari in the under-23s, so you can have to throw him in at some point. And we're in the running now, technically. So we've only got a maximum of 14 games left this season. And when do you start him? He's got to have a run, hasn't he?
Well, the problem, I think, what we've got here is a case of no one, including Arteta, thought that Mustafi was going to be playing the way he was. So now we've got a situation of, I've signed this guy, Mustafi's come on here. So it's a good problem.
Yeah, it is. And Johnny, I don't think anyone saw us going out of the Europa League so early and thought we would be having 2 games a week for the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and we haven't got that worry now. And that's not such a good thing. But
one thing I'm looking forward to against West Ham is I'm looking forward to a very angry, hungry Aubameyang, because he's going to be hurting, and I think he's gonna really push us for that top 5.
I think you're starving for the 24 hours previously. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Put him on a chain, starve him.
You know, with the chance of a top 5 this year, it really does give us. You know, we win. You know, you're right, Andrew. Putting Man City in amongst that run of games, we all looked at the next 3 or 4 games, and we could actually have won all 3 or 4, and suddenly we're in the mix. You know,
we've only lost. I'm pretty sure I might be wrong, but we've only lost 1 more game than Man City have all season.
Yeah, and we'd only won 1 more game than Norwich. You know,
I know, but Man City are fallible this season, aren't they? I don't fear them as much as I would have done last year. So, and we didn't have Arteta last year. So I'm not saying we're going to win 100%, but I don't think we're going to get spanked. Anyway, we've got more of a chance.
I think we'll be in the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I was going to say is, well, just quickly before Tony Turner's put, from what I saw, Socrates or Mustafi needs to be paired with Mari. I don't know what Luiz has done wrong on that point, but Luiz, I still think Luiz sometimes should be considered for one of the defensive midfield roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
he played really well in the Europa.
I think that Mustafi and Mari, with Luiz in front of them as one of the dual pivot, could be quite good.
Taking out who then? So let's expand on that. So taking out who, does that replace Xhaka? Does that replace who?
It depends who we're playing, if I'm honest. It depends who we're playing.
Okay, we're playing West Ham.
No, I wouldn't do that for West Ham. No.
So when would you do it? You know, you all nodded and said, yeah. I mean, and I watched.
Man City's a good one.
League, until he got injured, it was his best game, I thought, for us at the time. Luiz, he came into the centre of midfield, he ran the game.
Yeah.
Who do you drop him for? I mean, let's be serious. I mean, if that's something that we're going to
Xhaka, easy. I don't even think
no,
twice about it.
I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I'd keep Xhaka on the left.
He's so bad.
No, mate, I agree. But at the moment, he's the best we've got for that left side. I'll drop him for Ceballos, yeah, because against Man City, I'll drop Ceballos and put Luiz in because he's still great at passing. But let's face it, we're going to be under a lot more stress and from their attacking front 5. And Luiz is better defensively, and we'd have much more security there, personally.
It really frustrates me as well when you get, just what are people watching out there? What is this David Luiz thing going? He has been clearly our best centre-back, our leader on that pitch. Why on earth would you take him out and put Socrates?
It's not really saying much, but I agree with you 100%.
I don't understand.
I thought it was a great signing. He had a slow start, didn't he? The first 2 or 3 games, he made a couple of mistakes, but he's how lucky.
Yeah, but you know why?
With all that experience, that quality, that passing ability, that leadership that we've been lacking for so long.
He's got it.
Yeah. And
the one thing I say about Luiz that I don't like, please stop taking our fucking free kicks. Because one in 150 million might fly in like he did for Brazil. I remember him scoring 1. But please, let someone else take our free kicks because you ain't good at them, mate.
I mean, who do we have that's good at them besides Pepe?
Well, I mean, I'd rather have had anyone because Nelson took all our corners and everything, and he did a great job. So just give him a chance for God's sake.
I'm not saying I want Lou to take him, but I do like him standing over them to kind of give a different look when other defenses are kind of looking at us taking a
But
free
it
kick.
scares
But
the shit out of a goalkeeper as well because they know what he can do. You know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he's like Ronaldo. People think he's incredible at free kicks, which he's incredible at everything, let's face it. But he doesn't score a very high percentage of his free kicks, Ronaldo. It's just his reputation. And I remember Luis scoring an incredible one for Chelsea. I can't remember who it was. It might have been against PSG, actually, which made them want to sign him years ago. I can't remember him scoring another one.
If you watch him as a player, Louise, even at the first game, when we said going back, Darren, he was actually very good on his debut against Burnley for Arsenal. And then also the Brighton game, we lost. He was our best player. He scored a cracking goal that was disallowed. He did obviously get on with Henry. But since Arteta's been there, we haven't got the Chelsea Louise, but it's not far short of it. And that
It's obvious, painfully obvious, what was wrong early part of the season when he started, and that was because he had no protection in front of him. You know, we had a massive gaping chasm in front of our defence. That's what made him look bad, because he was so incredibly exposed, and he just had everyone running at him. And remember how many shots were giving up every single game, and he made mistakes because he's never had that before. He's never had such a disorganised, unfunctional midfield in front of him ever. And look what happens when we get a functional into Arteta in, and he knows he's got the team set up right. He hasn't worked miracles. He hasn't like done some kind of magic shit. He's just got the team set up and organised properly so that they're not actually exposed anymore. And now, just look overnight, for Arteta's first game, so much more comfortable. It's because of that stupid idiot we had as a manager before him.
Yep.
So that's if people can't see that the way that our defence looked so shocking. And I remember going on a couple of podcasts and saying our defence isn't as bad as people think. It's just the way that we're opening up like the fucking Red Sea, and everyone's just walking straight through the middle of us and peppering our goal with shots. So that's why he looked bad in the first half.
What Arteta's done as well, if you look at Mustafi now, he's doing the Tony Adams thing. He's getting the fucking ball out. He's not dancing around with it and that. No nonsense defending. My God. No nonsense.
I should hope not.
Do you know what I mean? But get rid of the ball, and that's what it's easy, and that's what he's teaching them to do. And I think Mustafi playing alongside Louise has helped Mustafi as well.
He's always got someone to give the ball to when he's in trouble, isn't he? Luis's first touch is normally so good. He can comfortably just give it to him, you know.
It's football suicide. Anyone that comes on here and says drop Louise, it is fucking mad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Did you see the Cruyff turn he did against Pompey?
Yeah, brilliant.
It's unbelievable. I mean, he created himself so many. I mean, obviously, people think, but I loved it. I did. It gave him so much space. The bloke didn't know which day of the week it was, let alone where the ball was. So yeah, I just love watching him play. I always have. Even when he played for Chelsea, I've always loved watching him play because he plays without fear. He just plays.
I always thought he was
He's a winner.
Player. We could have got him when Wenger was there. He was a Wenger type player, ball player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wenger wanted him.
Yeah,
he wanted him 2-3 years.
He did actually. Yeah.
And I just think we're lucky.
So we all laughing at the bearded gunner then, who keeps getting attacked by.
He's scared.
Listen, anyway, we've got to. This is the most important question of the whole show. Right, everyone listening. Right, Tanner, what's your favourite restaurant? I want two answers. I want one where you live, and I want one in London.
Okay.
The waiter.
Ready? Yeah, just to say, you look like you're
I'll
about
take notes. I mean, I'll give you a waiter too if you want. You know, I'm taking notes here.
Man, one in London.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Burger and Lobster. That place is really good.
What? Where's that? Is that London? Sorry.
Yeah, Burger and Lobster on.
Burger and Lobster. Yes. Actually, I think Is that? I know that.
Yeah, it's good. The one on Dean Street is fantastic. A restaurant here.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
I don't know why this question's got to be asked, but I've got to ask it anyway.
It's a long, drawn-out story. Don't worry about it.
Lengthy Twitter thread.
Did it get lost in the WhatsApp conversation?
No, it was on Twitter.
Right.
Over here, I'm going to say Chick-fil-A. I'll go with a chain.
That's like a fast food place. I don't know.
Chick-fil-A's good, man. Come on, you know
It
Chick-fil-A.
is. No, it's delicious. I didn't realize how cheap a date. I didn't realize how cheap a date you were.
Oh, I'm a real cheap date, man. Wow.
Tony Turner's put, you could land a helicopter in the middle of the pitch whilst we under Emery with the spacing the midfield was giving. Absolutely right. Yeah, I totally agree. We'd get crop circles if the game went on for extra time. So yeah, that's what I mean. Anyone would have looked shit, and I stand by the fact that even Virgil van Dijk would have looked shit in our defence under Emery because of the amount of space we were giving the midfielders. Anyway, all right. I think we'll probably. Has anyone got anything else? We'll call it a day there. Actually, no. Let's just one thing. One quick round. Do you think we're going to win against West Ham? What's the score? Predictions, please. I'll start with you, Johnny.
Arsenal 10-0, easy. I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so.
They're pissed all over West Ham. They're going to eat too much pie and mash. They ain't going to be able to move.
Jelly deals.
But no, all jokes aside, I think Arsenal win 3-0.
I like it.
A couple of goals. And also, just before move on,
Yes.
got a new show coming called The Boardroom Banks. Now, there's about 4 or 5 of us on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a podcast for everyone. It's it's Arsenal related, but we're also doing serious topics like mental health, any other subject that you can think of. We've got some great guests coming on. Next week we're doing our top 10 American horror films of all time, and we've got a film producer called Carl Hester. He's coming on. And in a few weeks from that, we've got Boise, John Chalice from Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so we've got some really good things.
Marlene.
Marlene. Marlene, get in the car. Anyone's welcome on there. Look out for it. It's the Boardroom Banks. And if you guys ever want to come on, it's a topic you're interested in, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, yeah,
when's it going to start?
Well, we started last week. And we went
Oh,
on.
good, beg your pardon. I'll have to catch up on that one then. What day did you go?
We go live on the Thursdays, but we work a lot
Okay.
with Paul from Arsenal Fan TV. He's a mate of mine, so we go on his show as well. We're going to watch along with the Portsmouth game. But, yeah, we've got some really good projects coming up, and we'll be doing some live ones from the Gunners pub as well. So, yeah, feel free to join in, guys. And if you see us and you want to come on, and it's a topic that you're interested in, get your name down, get us a DM, and we'll have you on.
I like all your top 10s you do regularly on Twitter with your films and your music and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
So
so we'll take it to the podcast now. So we're going to go for something a bit different, mix it up a little bit. And obviously, if that goes well, then we'll try a porn channel. I don't know.
absolutely, I think you should.
Yeah, wear that though, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't want to get too close.
Out.
Right. What about you, Daz?
Well, was it time to promote something? I've got fuck all to promote.
No, West Ham match. West Ham match.
Yeah, the Arsenal India podcast, that's dead.
What are your thoughts on the West Ham match?
All predictions, fuck me, if we knew how to predict football matches, then we'd all be rich instead of the bookmakers. So all my predictions are all
Oh,
made.
do you think that he's going to? Do you think he's going to have any players that have played their way into the? Like I asked the question before, we never really got round to that. We went off on the tangent as per usual. Do you think any players have played their way into the team?
Nketiah will start. Yeah, I think he's a big fan of Nketiah, and I think he will start. But I hope he plays. I hope that's the future. I loved watching this. I thought with those three really good, experienced people at the back, hitting 30, 40, 50-yard balls into the corners. That was great. We've got David Luiz. Let's use him. With that pace up front, it'd be great. And I hope we'll win. Come on, who knows? 5-0 Arsenal.
Oh my god.
That'd be lovely.
I always do. 5-0 is my standard prediction every game. I get it right twice a season.
Not yet this season.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, we won one of the Europa League games 5-0.
Oh, we did. Yeah, Nottingham Forest.
We beat Nottingham Forest 5-0, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look.
That was my favourite game of the season so far. That and the Liverpool game in the. I'm still going to call it the Carling Cup because Carabao. What the fuck's that all about? But yeah, I love that game. What about you, Ryan?
I actually think it's going to be 3-0 too. 2-3-0 the Arsenal. The only thing I'm scared about is if we play this, like I said before, if we play that same 11 that went up against Olympiacos, I'm terrified. But I think Johnny said it. I think Aubameyang is going to be hungry. I think he's just going to be after it. I'm excited to see him play. I just think he's going to bring it. I worry about the supporting cast, but Emery's first win against West Ham, Freddie's first win, West Ham. I just think we're going to do one to West Ham. So go 3-0.
Well, I was actually really worried about the Everton game, and I was quite pleasantly surprised that we won that one. And yeah, we should find, if we can beat Everton, we should be all right against West Ham. Oh, hello, little beagle. What about you, Tanner?
I'm pretty confident, but I'm going to go with a 3-1 to the Arsenal. I think West Ham can nick one.
They don't have Andy Carroll anymore. They're not going to score against us.
Yeah.
Oh shit, they have, haven't they? I forgot about him.
No. He's on Newcastle now.
No,
That's what I'm saying. They don't have him anymore.
Oh, well, they don't. I was going to say.
Yeah, he went to Newcastle. That's why I don't know. But
Going back to that Lacazette thing you were talking about earlier, Darren, I was going to say, fuck me, if you can get 35 million for fucking Andy Carroll, you can get like 100 million for Lacazette.
Well, that's very true. Yeah. Jesus.
40 million at Newcastle.
That's mental, isn't it?
One goal.
And then they got Suarez, didn't they, for 22, Liverpool, same side, same day.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Andrew, what's the score going to be? Have you had your...
I think it's going to be 2-1 to the Arsenal. I think it's going to be a bit tighter, but I'm confident of a win. And do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm not going to say we're going to win, but I don't think we're going to get beaten by Man City either. I think we'll come out of there with something.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that they'll just give everything against Man City because of Arteta, and obviously, if anyone knows what they're going to do, like tactics-wise, it's going to be in how to play against them.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think we'll lose against them either. So that's my
good that one, haven't you?
my bold prediction. Right, well, if anyone's got anything else, I know that you've got a show coming up after this one, haven't you, Tanner? Unless we've gone on too late, unless you're going to call it.
No, we're not. Yeah, we're running almost 2 hours here. So I was going to have Dan Potts on, but he couldn't make it tonight. So I think we're just going to scrap it, and we'll look forward maybe to next week.
Right, well, make sure everyone who's watching, anyway, give your show a subscribe as well. The Big Laguna channel is very, very good. And Ryan from the Arse Brothers, please give that a listen. Very, very good. It's not for children, the Arse Brothers, 100%.
no,
but,
it is not. Grab a beer and join us. Yeah, it's great.
If you like Bentley Hill, just watch that. Just give that a listen.
I was just thinking, if we are doing this, I should say that I was the guest on the Clock End Talk podcast yesterday,
Yes.
one that I've hosted for the last 6 months. So yeah, go on, Clock End Talk.
Until they got rid of you for a while, but they brought you back on a free transfer.
Guys,
Yeah,
if you ever want to your shows, just tag me, and if you want me to promote it for you as well, I'll gladly do it. No problem to all of you. Not an
That's
issue.
great.
Cheers, appreciate that, Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just so glad that we've got this off the ground after everything, after all the problems I've had. So I'm really glad that we've got the show on the road today. But thanks everyone for coming on. I do appreciate it. Thanks for your patience with.
Appreciate it. Yeah, nice to talk to you. Proper Arsenal fans, love it.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been good. It's nice to have positive, and until things change, unless the board do something terrible, I'm going to stay positive because I'm well behind Arteta and what they're doing. But you never know what's going to happen.
I've got a nice fucking tie here.
Take care, guys. Please give us a like, give us a subscribe, and tell your mates because I think you all agree it's worth watching the show. So thanks a lot, and hopefully see you all next week.
Cheers, guys.
Come on, you Gunners.
An absolute
Gotta
pleasure. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Gotta go.
Fuck off then.
Bless you.
Right, thanks a lot, guys. Do appreciate it. Thanks for your patience. It's been a bit of a nightmare, but I'm just pleased we got it off the ground today.
Yeah, good show, guys.
Yeah, still live, but no big deal.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we are still live.
Oh.
No, have we? I clicked in broadcast. Bollocks.
Better put my
Bollocks.
man-